Hello, world. It's Editing Ray popping in before we get started with today's show. So the good thing about being your own editor is that you can catch your mistakes before anyone else sees them. And as I was editing today's episode, I noticed that I referenced Noah Jupe when I really meant to mention Jacoby Jupe, who plays the son in Hamnet. So when you hear me mention Noah Jupe, I'm actually meaning to discuss Jacoby Jupe. All right, that's all. I'll leave you to it. Enjoy the show, and we'll see you on the other side. It's movie day. I'm Ray Love Jr.
And I'm Tre'vell Anderson.
And we are Seated, the blackest show about movies.
Yes. If you are new here, okay, hopefully you take a seat. Come on back. Make sure you grab a plate. Do a little snacking, okay? And if you've been here before, you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Because here at Seated, we don't just watch the movies, okay? We read the room, we read the industry, and we definitely read a little bit hypocrisy, which might come in handy for today's episode, okay? As we discuss Chloe Zhao's Hamnet, which is on the tongues and the lips of folks right now, Ray.
Yes, indeedy. But before we get into our main course today, do you want to get into a quick round of fresh outs?
Let's do it, because you saw Song Sung Blue recently, right?
Yes. Well, not that recently, because apparently now it's already available for streaming. But
oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But our fresh outs for folks who are new here, these are our smaller capture reactions of other movies that we've seen outside of our main movie of the week. And we're just going to give y'all our quick reactions and thoughts on the films. And so, as Tre'vell mentioned, I saw Song Sung Blue, which, if I'm being honest, when I saw a piece of the trailer, because y'all know I don't really watch trailers for real, but I caught a glimpse of this right before another film. I was like, why is Hugh Jackman singing again? What's going on here? So I went in a bit, skeptical about this. And actually, the first time I saw it twice. The first time I saw it was actually for an AMC Screen Unseen program, which is where you can go in and it's like a mystery movie. You don't know what the movie's going to be. And this was right before it actually came out. You just show up. Yeah, you sign up. They say this is going to be AMC Screen Unseen this week, and you just pick a seat and go. You don't know what you're watching, and this turned out to be Song Sung Blue, which is unusual because typically those films are always like thriller horrors, but I realized that's like a separate thing, and they have like a Scream version of that. But it was a pleasant surprise to see this early, and it was just before Christmas, so this was a minute ago. But I took my family back to see it again after seeing it the first time because I was like, this is like a family movie. It's a feel-good movie. It has songs that you may or may not be familiar with. And yeah, I vibed with it once I got past like that first act of Hugh Jackman singing because while he delivered, I don't really care for his tone, I'll say. He's no Luther.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a really sweet movie. It's based on a true story. Like this is based on real people, which I think helps the movie a bit because otherwise you're looking at this ridiculous story about, which I guess I should tell you what it's about. Essentially, it's a story about, how they have those Vegas, not cosplayers, what do you call them? Those acts that pretend to be another act. Oh, gosh.
Tributes.
Why is it
like tribute bands?
Like a tribute band.
Yeah.
He was a tribute act. He did the guy who sings Sweet Caroline, Neil Diamond. So he was
Sweet Caroline.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and so this was directed by Craig Brewer, who was the director of Hustle and Flow and Dolomite Is My Name.
I know that name.
So,
I know that name.
All positive things. And essentially, it comes from like a scrappy, feel-good story about the character Hugh Jackman plays, who I said, plays the Neil Diamond guy. And he meets Kate Hudson, who also becomes a tribute artist in herself. And they play like a struggling husband and wife in Milwaukee who decide to risk everything they have to be a touring act of Neil Diamond. And I forget the woman she plays. I can't remember. But essentially, they call themselves Lightning and Thunder. And it's like a soulful look at chasing a dream when life basically beats you down. It has a little tragedy in there, but it really is a light, upbeat movie. Like, you're hearing Sweet Caroline play in karaoke bars. Like, it is that type of like tone and vibe. So,
well, now, because I feel like there was a maybe brief moment where there was like conversation about this movie potentially being like an awards season contender, right? Like around the time when you saw it, I feel like there was small murmurings of that possibility, but it doesn't seem to have, suck its teeth in, you know?
Yeah. I think it's mainly because of Kate Hudson's role. Like, she's playing, I would say, against type in this. I've never seen her play in a role quite like this. Her character's quirky. She has to make some dramatic decisions. And I think her performance is really impressive because she's doing something we haven't seen her do before, and she's actually like delivering it in a really impactful way. So I think it's a fun story. It's a beautiful story. It's an easy story. My grandma and my mom liked it. So yeah, I definitely say Song Blue is worth getting a seat for.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I have a fresh out for the people. Yes. It is, I guess the industry is calling it a documentary, but the filmmaker does not call it a documentary. The film is called Black News, Terms and Conditions. This is a film that premiered at Sundance last year. It's directed by Khalil Joseph. And the film kind of started off as this art installation that kind of, I don't want to say parodied, because it wasn't necessarily a parody of journalists in journalism, or like of a news network, but it sort of kind of did. And it was this art installation that I was really introduced to through the Underground Museum, which was a Black-owned museum here in LA. This is probably 8 years ago or so. Anyway, the filmmaker was given some money to expand the concept of this installation into a film, and that's what Black News Terms and Conditions is. And so it's got a lot of like fiction in it. But also it's rooted in kind of a truth. And so it's kind of like genre-less, but it's being called a documentary, but it's not. Because they're like recreations of conversations that W.E.B. Du Bois and Marcus Garvey would have had, very, back to Africa. What does the ride back home? What that could look like? And it's the thing about this film. It's an art piece. This is an art piece. Even the film itself, this feature film, is art, and so it plays like art. It doesn't play like narrative, and it's challenging. I do want to shout out, like I said, it does have some acted pieces in it, and there are a couple scenes with Hope Giselle in it, and Bria Simone Henderson, who are in it as well. But if you can get a chance to see it, this is going to be a film it's not going to be everywhere. It just is what it is, because it is given art, right? So it might be in Philadelphia, it might be in New York, it might be in Atlanta. I don't know if it's gonna be in Miami. You know what I mean? But it's so interesting, and I want to see more because it just does so much with it. But it also challenged me so much. So Black News, Terms and Conditions. If you can get a chance to see it somewhere, please do let me know how it hits for you all as well.
Nice. I think those are really two great recommendations this week, considering the movie we're about to discuss. So,
okay. Yes. We're going to take a little break, okay? And when we come back, we're going to dive into Hamnet.
Yes. And as you all take your break with us, be sure you like, comment, subscribe, and also check out our Seated Movie Club over at seatedshow.com/join. And you can also email us at holla@seatedshow.com, and we will see you after the jump. To see or not to see, that is the question. Deep in the pandemic, Maggie O'Farrell had the white girl book clubs weeping over Hamnet. Now, the story has fallen into the hands of Chloe Zhao, Hollywood's visual scholar on grief, who paints loss like a wide-open landscape. But watching this story about a man leaving his family in the countryside to chase his dreams in the big city brought out some things for me.
Will we go with you this time?
No, not yet. Hey. I'll miss you. But I have to go, you understand?
I know. I understand.
That's good. Because I need you to look after your mother and your sisters. Will you do that?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Yes.
Yes. Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave?
Yes! Yes, I'll be brave! I'll be brave. I'll be brave.
Let's keep it a buck. When a black man leaves the crib to chase a dream, he's considered a deadbeat. And his family that's left behind, well, they become a statistic, and the woman becomes labeled things like welfare queen or baby mama. But when a white man does it, it's sacrifice. It's the burden of genius. And the woman at home is seen as standing by her man. We afford a grace to white male ambition that we never give to black fathers and grant very little empathy to black mothers keeping the home together. This double standard extends to the directors too. After Zhao's Golden Globes win, I couldn't help but contrast her with her Sundance Labs peer Ryan Coogler, who she actually thanked in her acceptance speech.
And I look around this room, there are so many of you that I have known for many, many years, my incredible fellow nominees, and I'm looking at you, Ryan Coogler. I'm looking at you, Sundance Labs. I taught you how to make a fire in your, because it was cold, in your room. But I'm looking at you, and I see so many of you have become so strong and tender at the same time. And you have shared so much of yourselves in your work to the world. So I salute to your bravery, and I salute your dedication. And let's do this together. Let's keep our hearts open.
Coogler stands 10 toes down on telling our stories because he knows the archives in the Hollywood canon are hollow. Meanwhile, Zhao was crowned a universal auteur precisely because she maneuvers through white European spaces rather than centering her own Chinese heritage. Hamnet argues that suffering is a soil through which art grows, but we need to ask who is actually doing the suffering. We know historical fiction for us is usually trauma porn and slave narratives, but here, grief looks different. So that's what we're unpacking as we discuss Hamnet this week. And here's the big question for the timeline. Is the tortured genius actually worth the trauma they cause their family? And why is that a title seldom explored through black narratives in film? All right, Tre'vell, you know I walked out of this movie with hella questions as I usually do, and I'm hoping you can help me unpack these today.
Let's see, because I know there's a lot on this one for you. There's a lot on this one for you.
It's a lot, but not so much, if I'm being honest.
Okay, I feel it. Okay, so let's start with the question that you always like to answer, which is like, who is this movie for?
So there are a few people I think this movie is for, and I actually want you to answer this first, because I'm curious to see where you land.
Okay, who is this movie for? Fans of Chloe Zhao. If you, I think she has a clear, distinctive filmmaking voice. It is a voice, respectfully, that I find challenging. But if you like, these quiet, meditative, slow, but purposeful kinds of narratives, Hamnet is exactly that, right? It is exactly, you pair it up with Chloe Zhao, like this, this is her. I think it's also an interesting take in terms of breathing life into this part of a story that many of us may know, which is like William Shakespeare, how the play Hamlet, came to be allegedly, all of this other stuff, these interconnections with the narrative specifically here. And I also think if you like a strong female performance, because I think this is a movie where there's a strong female performance that actually is the driving, beat here. And I'm talking about Jessie Buckley as Agnes, or what is it? Agnes. And so that's who I would say it's for. What about you?
Yeah. I was curious about who you thought it was for first, because I felt a detachment to what I'm about to say. It's more of an observation I made with the audience that was present around me, as well as people who have seen this film on their own. And so I think this is for people who view grief as an aesthetic rather than, I guess, a trauma. It's for audiences who want to watch pain that's quiet, pretty, and resolved through poetry rather than pain that is loud, messy, and systemic, if you know what I mean. It's very cottagecore grief, if you ask me.
Cottagecore grief is crazy.
Let me talk you through it. Everyone that I heard talk about this movie kind of leaves with this pride in the fact that they cried and they were so sobby after. And I was just like, as I was watching this movie, it's not that I was unfazed. I understood the loss being experienced here.
Yeah.
But there was never a point where I was moved to like actual tears in ways that people have kind of waxed poetic about in their responses to this. And I will say, when I went to see this movie, I sat in a row behind a row of like friends. I will say they were friends, a group of white girls, essentially. Mm-hmm. And when the credits rolled, all you heard was sniffing and them looking at each other, just like smiling and crying. Like, I can't believe I'm crying. I can't believe. Did you feel that? And it just felt so white woman tears to me, if I'm being honest.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So I mean, to that point, I mean, I think.
And this is what I was wrestling with watching the movie the whole time. I was like, I see the thing you're speaking to. I see what's happening, but like, I need to talk to somebody else about this because clearly it's not landing for me the way it is other audiences. I do think
the fact that there is a particular kind of narrative here around motherhood, around kind of these expectations we have of women in particular, and I wonder how the moving through that in the narrative might have connected with those beloveds, in your theater, and not have connected with you, as it were. There is also a kind of, I don't know, I guess similar to you, I was not personally affected or overcome with emotion, but I did. There's a couple moments with Jessie Buckley in particular where I said, oh, that's her have I not given you everything moment?
Yes.
That mother's pain, that I felt it. And it was palpable. But this point you make about the grief as an aesthetic. Yeah. And I don't think you meant that negatively per se.
I didn't. It's just an observation.
But there is something about a narrative, because this is a narrative about grief through and through, but a narrative about grief not leaving you exhausted and drained by the end of it. There's something, I don't know if that's what we're dealing with here. I'm not saying that that's what we're dealing with here, but there's something about that element that I think is also of interest when we discuss, this specifically, but Chloe Zhao's work more broadly.
Yeah. So now that we're talking about Chloe Zhao's work, we have to give the director some as usual. So how familiar are you with the other projects she's directed and led? I mean, she has a pretty nice resume, I would say. She
does. I have to, admit that I don't know nothing before Nomadland. That was my introduction to her. And the year that came out, it was the girl. of the season. And I was one of those people was like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't feel it.
And that's how I'm feeling with Hamnet.
Fair.
But yeah, continue.
No, fair. I did like, she did that Marvel's movie, The Eternals. With Brian Tyree Henry was in that one, I believe. I like that.
Yeah.
But that movie, as I understand it, while it had some Chloe Zhao flourishes, it is an outlier.
Yeah.
In terms of these smaller, more independent kind of films that Chloe is really known for.
Yeah, and also it's the one Marvel movie in recent history that people actually, fans of the MCU, claim to not like, which I'm like, I actually was into Eternals, but maybe that's just speaking to... Me too, but it's like known to be one of those that people put aside. But I think that's also something to be said about when women lead these comic book films, how that audience responds to them, because they also did the same thing to Nia DaCosta. They also did the same thing. I hate that I'm forgetting the other woman who directed the Marvel film, but it seems to be a common thing there. And I, like you, she came to me through Nomadland. And I noticed, like, as I was doing my research on her, that all of her films have this common thread of grief as a theme. So I think that's why earlier when I made that comment about her being someone known to really visualize grief in a really great broad way, this is kind of her jam, if you will.
I mean, one of the things I appreciate about her work, I do feel like I often say it's a little too long for me. No shade. But I do think Chloe is great at articulating a space in a film. You gonna have a solid understanding of the world that we are in, because Chloe just gonna have you look at a sunset for 15 minutes, it feel like.
Yeah.
And you're going to see the flora and the fauna, as it were, in this natural landscape. And even with Hamnet, I felt like there so much of it is in a cabin, in the woods.
Under that tree.
Where it could kind of be very dark, and it could kind of be very confining. But I felt like I understood the world and the space, right? Yeah. That we were in, and what they got out of being in the woods, and all of that.
Yeah. And I'm someone who, I think another reason why the movie maybe didn't land for me is because I don't care for that period being depicted much. I think it's just because it's not often you see us depicted in this time, so I never really gained any attachment to the period or the era itself, and a lot of it just feels obligatory, honestly, because these were things that I was forced to read in
How do you feel about William Shakespeare, generally speaking? Are you like a Romeo and Juliet who cares?
I respect the stories that he's told and the way that current directors and filmmakers have interpreted his works, but the actual work itself, I was never really that into. I get like the what is it? Pentameter? What is it? The
iambic pentameter.
Iambic pentameter. Yeah, it's his thing, but also not something that I care for. I'm also not somebody who's that into Bridgerton. I watched the first season and got the hype, but this is over there with that to me.
Oh, I've never even seen that. So you mad that there ain't no black people in the Shakespearean time, so you don't want to watch it?
I mean,
is that what I heard?
Not necessarily. I'm open to stories, but I think speaking to this specific period, whenever I see things set in this, I'm not running to the theater to see it because I know what I'm going to get, and they all kind of oftentimes feel the same.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. Well, we spoke a little bit about Jessie Buckley and her performance. She's currently I guess you could say, front runner for the Oscar for lead actress. On the flip side, her partner in this film, Mr. Paul Mescal. What thoughts, feelings about his performance from your vantage as William the Shakespeare?
Y'all might call me goofy as hell, but y'all know I don't watch trailers. So even with the title of this being Hamnet, I wasn't exactly drawing a direct parallel to Hamlet, the Shakespeare play.
Sure.
And it wasn't until the movie starts and we see like the titles or the words come on the screen saying how Hamnet and Hamlet during that time were interchangeable, and, you know, because of the way they spoke, they're both the same thing but means different, whatever. So for most of this movie, I didn't even realize that Paul Mescal's character was William Shakespeare, because they reference him in the film as Will.
Yes.
I'm one of the goofies who, when the man says, "Who are you looking for?" when they come to town, like the third act, and they say, "William Shakespeare," I was like, "It's Will Shakespeare?" So that was a reveal to me. This whole movie, I was watching this like unaware that this was like an actual Hamlet movie.
That's funny.
His performance, it was doing what I think it needed for the character, but the character didn't really require much.
It's the same thing he did in Gladiator.
Which
is the same thing he did in, what's that other movie he was in? After Sun? Was it After Sun?
Oh, After Sun, yeah. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, if you get your shtick, stick with it, I guess, you know, for a period of time.
Yeah.
It reminds me of all them white men who always play the racists in everything. They always playing Grover Cleveland. They always playing, you know, the horrible sheriff.
But he's definitely the soft white man, creative soft white man.
Yeah, but he was effective.
All of Us Strangers, I did like him in that one, but yeah.
All of Us, I don't think I saw that one.
It was like 2 or 3 years ago.
I would say, I remember it. I remembered it, but I don't think I saw it.
Andrew Scott was his co-star in that one. It was real small, but yeah. But his performance was good to me. But before we get too far from Chloe Zhao, I did think that it's worth mentioning that she did make history as the first woman of color and second woman ever to win Best Director. Like, that is notable and worth
for Nomadland,
for sure. Yeah, for Nomadland. But yeah, that's the performances.
We'll give her
give her tens.
Okay, yeah, we'll give it to her.
A performance that stood out to me was the kid who played the Hamlet role. I was really impressed by his delivery. Yes, I think his name is Noah Jupe.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Younger actors, like kid actors, basically. It can be so hard, I think, to be a kid actor that like legitimately holds their own. Not just like, oh, you cute, but like legitimately holds their own. And also, I'm not talking about Quavagene in Beasts of a Southern Wire, 5'5", whatever it's called.
I ain't seen her in a minute.
Well, she grown now. That's a grown woman now.
Yeah,
that's a grown. Yeah. We all beloved.
Speak for yourself. You old.
But what I mean is the kind of work that this young guy has to do in this film. I think I was like, okay, I see you.
Yeah.
And shout out to Chloe for getting such a performance out of such a young actor. So.
If the Academy still had their juvenile award, I think it was called, I definitely think that he would be somebody in the running. Yeah, that was the actual category back in the day.
Well, you know, the young actor of the moment, well, the young white actor of the moment is well, shout out to Noah, but Everett Blanc, I believe is how you say his name.
Is that the kid from Adolescence?
No, this is the kid. This is the kid from a movie, a small independent movie. I don't think you saw it. It came out literally, I think, first or second week of this year, called The Plague.
I have not seen that at all.
Oh my God. If you see it, you know, at the AMC, please go watch it.
Okay.
But That Beloved, he's nominated for Breakthrough Performance. Actually, I take that back. He's nominated in the Best Lead category against grown people for the Independent Spirit Awards. And his co-star, one of his co-stars in the film, also a young person, K.O. Martin is his name, is nominated in the Breakthrough category. But when we're talking about young actors, young white actors, all three of them are in conversation for me as like folks to watch for sure.
So if the Academy did have that juvenile award, we would have a race.
We would have a race. And also, last one, Jacob Tremblay. You remember Jacob Tremblay?
What did he play in?
Jacob Tremblay was the little kid who played in, there was this movie called Wonder, where it was a little boy who was this, I don't know if I'm using the right language, but he had a visual condition with his face.
I missed that one too. I'm not
Dang.
familiar.
Okay, Jacob Tremblay. He had a moment. He was real young, and then he disappeared for a little minute. But now he's like a teenager, and he was in this film, independent film last year called Sovereign, opposite Nick Offerman. So good. I'll leave it at that.
This is why I love talking to you, because you be watching movies and you
I
be
see
watching
random stuff. I'm sorry.
those independent, like really deep in the.
I see random small stuff that nobody ever hears of, and then I come here onto the podcast and tell you how much I disliked Hamnet, which is the one everybody's talking about.
So something that one of the questions I was wrestling with while watching this movie is whenever we get a prestige Black historical movie, I feel like I have to like brace myself for whips and chains. But like in Hamnet, we're exploring the 1500s through art, romance, and the plague. And it's tragic, but it's not like degrading. And it's also beautiful. Like a lot of these pictures and scenes look like fine art. Like you could do freeze frames and literally put those in an ornate frame and think that it was a painting. But if you were giving a blank canvas to adapt a Black historical novel, assuming you may know one, that has nothing to do with slavery or civil rights, what era or story are you starving for? Or like, where is our Black Tudor era, if you will? And I have an answer for this, though.
Okay, you go first. Because you've pondered.
I mentioned that I did dabble a little bit into Bridgerton, and one of the storylines that I did appreciate that they didn't really get deep into, but like there's something there, was a story of the Moors, and like the Moors of that era were like the dark-skinned people in like the Renaissance era. Now, there aren't specific stories that I know of, but as I was watching Hamnet, I was always curious about like, where are the people at in this story, like in this timeline? What are they doing? Like, what is their perspective on this thing happening? Like, how are people viewing? Are they even aware of a William Shakespeare down in the theater putting on these plays? So that was what came to mind for me.
Okay, so I would say a couple things, So, do you watch The Gilded Age?
Oh my God. Yes, I do. I love that show.
Okay, so I love the small slithers of life that we get of Peggy as a journalist from that era. And there's a character in that series, T. Thomas Fortune, who is named after a real guy. That's a real guy who, was a Black journalist from that era. I want more stories like that. I want more stuff like that. And then I also thought about, for the Harlem Renaissance to be as storied of an era of Black cultural production, and in particular Black queer cultural production, I feel like there's so much we don't know, we don't hear, we have not heard, There's a podcast, what's it called? Our Ancestors Were Messy or something like that. But it's a podcast diving into some of these messy stories between, James Baldwin and whomever else, and Langston Hughes or whatever, And it's just like all of those kinds of stories that like we know but we don't know. And what would it look like to have that on screen in some way, shape, or form? To your point about, not being succumbed by the very real traumatic parts of our history, which are there, right? But like, there's so much else.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that Harlem Renaissance era because I think I may have encountered some TikToks on the timeline of that show and like the way they get into just the mess and like the relationships between people that we regard in that historic era is so interesting. I'm like, I would love to see this visualized in a fictional series of some sort. But another series, when you speak of the Gilded Age, that's kind of like adjacent to that era around the 1900s, was a show called The Nick, which starred Andre Holland. He had a role in there. It was such a really good series. I came onto it after its initial air date or airtime during 2020. And it was so prescient for that time because they were talking about... what was the plague that happened then? I can't remember what it was. The blacks, I don't know what it was, but because they were going through like their essentially version of the pandemic of that era, watching that play out.
The bubonic plague?
The pandemic. No, the bubonic plague must have been during the Renaissance era.
The Black Plague?
During the 1900s?
Oh, girl, I don't know. Listen, I'm not a student of history like that, okay?
But Andre Holland plays a doctor in that series, and we get to see him navigating like those political race tensions of the era. And it was just really good, just to throw in something else as an alternative to the Gilded Age. But yeah, that's definitely the first question that like cropped up for me as I was watching this play out again on screen.
You know, it's always interesting. You know, these kinds of questions often come to me as well, just because I'm like a black person watching all of this stuff, and it's just like, oh, this is cute, but like, you know, we was some. I don't know if we was there, but we was some way.
Right, we were around somewhere.
You know what I mean? I don't know if we was they in the woods with them, but we was somewhere. But it always comes back to how these kinds of narratives get termed, you know, universal, or you know that like everybody can relate to this story of grief. And if Hamnet happened to be dipped in some chocolate, same story, but you got Andre Holland and Janelle Monáe. I don't know. You know, I know. I pulled that one.
Love my girl, but I'm like,
Okay, let's go with Andre Holland and Danielle Brooks.
Ingenue Ellis.
No, Danielle Brooks. We gotta
split them up. Yeah, they've been in something together already. Yeah,
you know, but Danielle Brooks and Andre Holland, because you know Danielle can give you that emotion, and you know, but you know what if Hamnet was dipped in chocolate? Would we still be having the same conversation?
You know, I have a comp for this, actually.
Okay.
It's not Hamnet, but it is, I don't know the exact year, but it's of a past time.
Okay.
And I have to bring up The Woman King with our girl Viola Davis. Because that is a period piece centered around a strong black woman, a strong black tribe that has a beat of aspiration to it, a beat of strength, a beat of community in a similar way. But as we saw, that movie and that project was paid dust during its run.
Well, yeah. It definitely, I would say, it did not get the attention it should have. That was a fucking amazing movie.
Amazing.
Probably, and this is saying a lot. Probably, it might have been Viola's best work.
She calls it her magnum opus. It was amazing,
and it was for so many different reasons. But I see the connection you trying to make. I see it.
Period, but different.
It's very different period. Very different period. But it is interesting to me how, you know, and is it the narrative itself or is it the filmmaker? All of Chloe Zhao, I should say all, the ones that I know of Chloe Zhao's projects, many of them are seen as universal. Many of them are seen as kind of being on a particular kind of pulse and connected to and rooted, grounded will be the word I use. All of her work, I feel like they talk about how grounded she is and the sensibility she brings to it. And we don't, that what is offered to her in terms of what she brings to the craft is not always offered to other creators and what they bring to the craft. And I think that's something interesting in this moment, right? When we're looking at Hamnet itself, but also how it's moving through this award season conversation.
Yeah, and you mentioning that her projects are hailed often as universal. They're also still, I wouldn't say, it's not that they're not accessible, but they also have that like art house feel to it, where it has like that indie spirit. And with that, it's something that if it did not get this universal praise or stamp on it or attention, would easily be something that people miss or ignore, but it's flung into the mainstream because of this conversation. And I think that's something I want to see more of for us. And even with thinking of this, like knowing that this story is an adaptation of fan fiction, essentially, because this isn't really based on a true story. It's based on true figures, but it's an imagination of what William Shakespeare and his wife's relationship was like in a way. And I'm like, what Black figures of the past could we get like a fan fiction story made of that would be just as compelling? And like, who would direct that in a Chloe Zhao way? It's just a question throwing out there for anyone to just ponder over. But yeah, these are the things that go through my mind as I'm watching.
There's a lot of questions be going through your mind, beloved. Lots of questions be going through that mind of yours. Yeah, I mean,
that's why I needed a podcast.
Well, and here we are. Ultimately, with this movie, I don't know. I just you mentioned this a little earlier, and I know now that the movie's been out for a little bit, the kind of critical conversation has settled, and the majority of folks, really enjoy the film and are bowled over by it. But I do feel like I'm closer to your end, which is just like, okay. I'm fine.
I saw it, but I wasn't in a rush to.
I've actually seen it twice now. And the first time I saw it, and I should note, both of the times I've seen this film were not in theaters. Both of them were on screeners, and so that might also be impacting, what I'm picking up or not picking up, as it were. But the first time I remember watching it, and I just remember not being able to the movie itself wasn't keeping me and keeping my attention, and I just felt like that wasn't fair.
Yeah.
You know, because I was also at home. So I was like, you know what, let me just stop down and come back to it later when it's earlier in the day and I'm a little bit more alert and and that's what I did in preparation for our conversation today. And it still did not connect in a way that I wanted or hoped for. But I can see why she's getting, Chloe Zhao in particular, getting the focus, the attention, the accolades and adulation that she is. And because she won Best Picture, right? They won Best Picture at the Golden Globes, in addition to
Drama.
Jessie. Best Picture Drama, right? Over Sinners.
You gotta rub it in.
Because we not over it. We not over it. We're not over it. But yeah, those are my collective thoughts on Hamnet. Any other burning thoughts, feelings, questions before we get into our rating?
No, I just echo what you said. Like, I respect the craft and I celebrate what she's done with this. And it's just a point where you just recognize things are maybe just not up your lane and let people have their things. I ain't trying to yuck nobody's gem out there who enjoyed this, but, you know, it is what it is for me.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into our seated, our skip it, or our stream it recommendation. Where are you today?
I'm not even going to hold people on this one. I think it's pretty clear that this movie is not for me and I can't confidently recommend it. So this is actually going to be my first skip it.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Because I applaud you for your commitment to the show and the conversation and watching it a second time, but I could not bring myself to go to the theater for a second watch of this. And I also would not watch this at home. I would definitely put it on if I want a nice nap. So, yeah. Skip it.
That's crazy work. But I love it. And I'm right there with you. I do think that this is art.
Yeah.
You know, and some people will be entertained by this art, and some people won't be.
Yeah.
And so I am also a skip it.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. We have had our first official double skip it of the show. And I promise you, this is not revengeful. It's just what it is.
No,
like,
but
I'm just being honest.
And it's okay, right? Because we don't have to like everything, and we don't. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Anyway, let's get to the broader critical conversation. So over on the Rotten Tomatoes, the Rotten Tomato meter, 86%. Okay, that's with 258 folks rating it fresh and 41 rating it rotten. 86%
of critics.
Of critics.
Yeah.
You know, but the popcorn meter with the audience is a little bit high, a lot bit higher, 93%.
Wow. Is that like the highest rating we've had in a while? Wow.
We've had some high ones. I think like Zootopia was very high on the audience as well. But popcorn meter is very high, but it's also like, you know, I do think if you like Chloe Zhao, if you like her movies, if you like period pieces, like, you know, check. So, you know, it makes sense. If you like
to cry, be in your feels, I guess this is for you.
Yeah. And then we have our Black Critic Spotlight. And this week we are going to shout out Tim Cogshell, who is, if you listen to FilmWeek, okay, over on LAist, you'll be able to hear him in a portion, just a little sample of what he had to say. He said, it wants to devastate you without depressing you. That's what this movie is going for, and it absolutely achieves it.
Sure. Shout out to Tim. He's a member of NABJ, and I got to meet him.
You said sure.
I got to meet him at one of the summits you produced in LA.
Yes.
Really nice guy, really insightful, really smart critic. I really appreciate his approach to film.
He's great. He's a veteran of this thing called film criticism, particularly here in LA. So shout out to Tim. Okay.
All right. Well, that will do it for our feedback, the critics' feedback, and the people's feedback of one Hamnet. And we're about to do a quick break and jump into our Black Cinema game.
Stay tuned.
So grab a snack and come on back. Back again. And now it's time for my favorite segment this week and every week, Black Cinema Games.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yes. Are you ready this week, Tre'vell? Because you really played with me last week, child.
I am. Because it don't feel good being on the other side. Do it.
I mean, it was fun, but you gave me no grace. I was like, damn, what did I do to deserve such hard questions?
Well, now you get to get me back. I am back in the hot seat. What do you have planned for us today?
What did Monique say when the something comes to bite? So what is that quote? I hate that I can't remember it right now. Oh, it'd be so perfect for this moment. I'll insert it here.
Okay.
See, when you do clownery, the clown comes back to bite.
All right. So this week's Black Cinema Games, it's not the soundbite game. It's actually not a game we've played before.
Uh-oh, here you go.
I'm calling this week's game Same Energy.
Okay.
Can you infer what this is going to be based off of the name?
Same energy. So we're going with like stuff that's on the same vibe that gives off the same energy. The kind of movies, are these movies
As
that
Hamnet.
give off the same?
Yeah, because you know, ain't no black people in Hamnet. So I couldn't do no specific actor-centered game. So I really had to like think for this one.
Yes, you had to get creative. Yes, you did.
Yes. So for Same Energy, I'm going to give you the vibe of the movie and how it relates to Hamnet with a few extra hints because, you know, I'm more generous of a game show host than you were with me last week.
Fair.
And you've got to guess the movie.
Fair. That's okay. I'll take it. That's okay. All right. So let's get going with our first one.
Yes. We're going to do 4 rounds because this is it. Like, we ain't got no extra points in this one because, I ain't had no actors to pull from.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right.
We got this.
Round 1, I'm giving you the vibe and some hints, and you're guessing the movie that gives the same energy as Hamnet. Round 1 is the anti-Shakespeare vibe.
Anti-Shakespeare. Okay.
Yes. So in Hamnet, a father leaves his family to go make art, and history calls him a hero. In this 2024 film, we see the flip side. A successful painter uses his art not to escape his family, but to confront the father who abandoned him. It's a direct challenge to the idea that you have to have a tortured soul to be a great artist. Do you get any of it yet?
No.
First hint. This film made its world premiere at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival, which is happening right now.
How I knew it was going to be a Sundance film.
Hint number 2, the supporting cast includes Andra Day and Ingenue Ellis-Taylor. Any guesses?
Oh, wait, no, you said it was Sundance. So, I'm going to tell you, I know this is wrong. My mind went to that Tyler Perry movie, or no, that Lee Daniels movie where they got that white lady over there talking about the nappy, you know what? That's where my mind went to because they both did that movie.
I'm going to put the clip. in. I got to put the clip in.
I can smell your nappy pussy.
I'm still mad.
It is not that.
Okay, but they're both in that movie too. So I don't. Is this the one with Andre Holland that you always talking about?
It is.
The actor?
It is. No, it's not the actor. So no.
What's it
but
called?
this movie is Exhibiting Forgiveness.
It's the other one.
Yes. I told you Andre Holland be acting. He be
I
working,
saw this.
child.
I actually saw this. I actually did see this.
So, a quick description of Exhibiting Forgiveness is directed by the incredible visual artist Titus Kaphar. It stars Andre Holland as a successful painter whose life is upended when his estranged, recovering addict father drops back in. It's a raw, semi-autobiographical look at whether making it actually helps you heal the wounds of your childhood or just makes things a bit more complicated. So, yeah, you missed the first point, but that's fine. I actually thought you would get that one. I was like,
funny enough, I've seen that. I've seen that.
I know. We've talked about it. That's why I know you've seen it.
That's crazy.
All right. Are you ready for round 2?
Let's do it.
We're calling this round the Failed Genius.
Failed genius. Okay.
Okay, next one. We talked about how white men get to be the complex when they hurt their kids, right?
Sure.
In this 2016 adaptation, we have a father who is arguably a genius in his own mind, a storyteller, a former athlete, but his bigness suffocates his son. He builds a literal barrier to keep death out, but mostly just ends up trapping his family in his own shadow. Hint number 1. Most of the 2010 Broadway revival cast reprised their roles in this adaptation.
What?
Hint number 2. This film was nominated for Best Picture at the 2017 Academy Awards, the year that Moonlight won. I'm going to throw in an extra hint. We just talked about the supporting actress not that long ago in this conversation, who swept the awards that year and won Best Supporting Actress, I believe, at the Academy Awards.
For this film.
For this film.
With black people in it?
All black cast. Real black cast.
The piano lesson.
Damn, Tre'vell. No.
Because she didn't win. Dang.
She ain't winning. Also, oh, man. Man. I just knew you were going to get this one.
What was it? Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
No, but you're close. This was the 2016 film Fences.
Oh.
Damn. All right, so a quick description of Fences for those who may not know. It was the Denzel Washington and Viola Davis masterclass based on August Wilson's play. It follows Troy Maxson, a sanitation worker and former baseball player in the 1950s Pittsburgh. He builds a literal and metaphorical fence around his family to manage his own failures and betrayals. It was pretty widely seen, I would say, for
it was, but I know we don't have no referee in this game. But that's okay. I'ma just put it on me and say that was my bad. I'ma just put it on me. I'm not gonna blame the game maker, because I would never do such a thing.
We two down. I think these next two, oh man, actually,
they get harder, don't they? So I done lost my chance. It's okay. I know. It's okay.
You may surprise the people. All right.
Okay,
Round three.
Let's go.
The visual landscape is the category.
Visual landscape, okay.
Yes. All right. So we gave Chloe Zhao her flowers for how she films grief, quiet, wide open, lots of nature. Well, this 2023 A24 film is the black answer to that aesthetic. It spans decades in Mississippi, has barely any dialogue, and treats a black woman's life like a slow-moving river. It proved we don't need trauma porn screaming matches to show deep loss. Oh, wow. Hint one of the producers of this film includes Barry Jenkins.
Yes.
Okay, feeling good. Hint number two. Though it did not win, it was nominated for the Grand Jury Prize in the Dramatic Competition at the 2023 Sundance Film Festival.
Okay.
Throw out your guess, because I feel like you got it.
Dang. Watch I throw out the wrong one. Is it All Dirt Roads Lead to Salt or whatever it's called?
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. I was like, knowing how you watch films, this is a small one, but I think you will get it.
But it's crazy that I got that and didn't get Fences.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
So to describe All Dirt Roads Taste of Salt for the people, this is a 2023 film and the stunning debut from poet turned filmmaker Raven Jackson. It's a non-linear journey through the life of a black woman in Mississippi, told almost entirely through touch, rain, and dirt rather than heavy dialogue. It is really pure atmosphere, if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm. And I believe... Don't get me to lying, but I believe that filmmaker also contributed to Black News, which I mentioned at the top of the show, because they basically put together a writer's room for that film, and had a number of directors whose hands are in it. And so I believe that she's one of the collaborators for that as well.
Nice. Another through line I was not aware of. Love to see it. All right, last round, 4. You know, 4 is Beyonce's favorite number, so we have one more chance to put some points on the board. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Well, I got the number 3 one, so that, I'm feeling pretty
I think that actually would have been the hardest one for me, but yeah.
Okay.
Round 4 is categorized as the public grief.
Public grief.
Yes. Here's your clue. Hamnet is about a mother, Agnes, grieving her son in private. This 2022 film is the exact opposite. It's about a black mother who takes her private grief over her son's murder and forces the entire world to look at it. She refuses to let her son be a quiet tragedy. She makes him a global revolution. Hint number 1. This won the Producers Guild Award, the Stanley Kramer Award specifically, for illuminating important social issues. Hint number 2. The supporting cast includes Jalen Hall and Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't even know who Jalen Hall is.
I'm going to give you a third clue because I really want you to get this one. The lead actress in this is Danielle Deadwyler.
Lead actress Danielle Deadwyler. What year?
2022. She plays the mother.
Oh, Till.
Yes, it is 2022's Till. Okay, I had
not
to get
you so exasperated with me.
So, a description of Till, director Shanoya Chuklu's powerhouse film about Mamie Till Mobley's pursuit of justice for her son Emmett Till. It's anchored by a career-defining performance from Danielle Detweiler, and it focuses less on the violence of the crime and more of the revolutionary power of a mother's love. And like, to be honest, Danielle Detweiler deserved much more acclaim for this performance. It was such a gripping performance. Like, what she did in that actually evoked emotion for me as I was watching this in a way that I think Hamnet was reaching for. So I had to round this conversation out with that one. So 2 points on the board, Tre'vell. How you feel? I think this is a great score.
I feel great. I do want to register a complaint. How I get the two harder ones, I guess, and not the easy ones. But that's how my tism show up, y'all. So leave me alone. Okay.
Well, let that be a lesson. Grief might not be universal, but the license to grieve is definitely not.
Okay.
So I hear your grievances, but the facts are the facts, and this is your score, 2 out of 4.
It is what it is. I don't mind. It is what it is. All right, that was Black Cinema Games. Let's get into our Good Vibes Only segment. This is our recommendation segment for things that are keeping our vibes good, that we believe will keep your vibes good. Would you like to go first this week?
I can go first.
Okay.
So considering the theme of Hamnet is centered deeply around grief, the film that cropped up for me that's really recent, I think people can access, and also I don't think many people saw this. It may be a hard watch, but again, if this is your thing, this will definitely do that thing for you. It's historic. It's a Black director. It's Black led, and that film is Ava DuVernay's Origin, which came out in 2023.
You don't escape trauma by ignoring it. You escape trauma by confronting it. I don't write questions. I write answers.
It's a biographical drama based on Isabel Wickerson's book Caste, and it follows the acclaimed journalist as she grapples with personal tragedy and researches the hidden caste system, connecting racism in America through the Holocaust and India's untouchables, exploring history, romance, and the fight for humanity through a hybrid narrative style that blends narrative and documentary elements. And the reason why I pulled this one is because it's based on Caste in an interesting way, where it's like more about the writer's process of creating that book than it is an actual story of what's being told in that book, if that makes sense. In a similar way that like this Hamnet story is kind of historical fiction and kind of like fan fiction in a way too. This blends that in an interesting way that I really liked. Anjanou Ellis is the lead in it, and her character as the writer of this book, she's a journalist, and she also is dealing with grief herself. I don't want to give away what the grief is because that's a plot point in the movie I think worth exploring and experiencing in real time. But all of these threads really kind of like are its closest one-to-one pairing, I think, for Hamnet for a current film. So yeah.
Interesting.
Ava DuVernay's Origin. Yeah,
Origin is it's actually a well-made movie. When I think about it. Okay, shout out to Ava. Well, my recommendation this week is going to be a 2024 independent film called Ghostlight. One word, Ghostlight.
Many of us live our lives repressing our emotions because out there they can be a liability. But in here we can put those into good use.
What?
You're happy.
Okay, weirdo.
Good luck, honey.
You don't say good luck. Just break a leg.
Break a leg.
It is a film that stars a man by the name of Keith Kupferer. Kupferer. I don't know how to say this man's name. Okay, y'all know I don't. But whatever. But Keith and I believe his daughter, his real life daughter, play in this movie. And Keith basically he's a construction worker who's very stressed at life, and ends up joining a community theater group with his daughter, and they end up doing, I believe it's Romeo and Juliet. like a community production of Romeo and Juliet, and it's about this father basically coming into a beautiful renewed relationship with his daughter as they are mourning the loss of his son, her brother. And so similar to Hamnet, it is a story about grief. I also chose it because of the Shakespearean element. But it's a beautiful, soft, really wonderful movie. Came out in 2024. It was recognized at the Independent Spirit Awards for the lead actor's performance. And I think it was nominated for one or two others. But it's the kind of film, those kind of like nice independent films that are just like quaint, that is about a processing and a moving through and using art to do so. So that's my recommendation called Ghostlight.
Nice. All right. So our recommendations, mine was Ava DuVernay's Origin from 2023 and Tre'vell's was Ghostlight 2024 film. And it's interesting that both of our picks were independent films. Ava's film Origin was produced independently in a different way. It was supported, I believe, through like philanthropic organizations and private donors. So.
Ford Foundation gave her some money, etc. I believe.
Nice. All right, well, that'll do it for this week's episode. We're about to get up out of here, and we hope that you all have enjoyed our conversation, and we'll bring a friend next time, as the congregation is always open.
Absolutely. Okay, the doors of the Seated Church are always open. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell us how you are feeling and the movies that you are watching. Feel free to hit us up at holla@seatedshow.com. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Holla. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. If you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and tap that subscribe button. And if you're listening, give us a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app or wherever you're tapping in today. It'll really help folks find us as we grow. Seated is an independently funded production, and your support can help us go further. Consider becoming a card-carrying member of the Seated Movie Club at seatedshow.com/join, where we'll bring you more of this popcorn-worthy content, special events, and more. And how do we do all that we do? Well, it's not by ourselves. Our theme music was created by Buckrow and animation by Ajung Adi, with creative consulting by Jade Fox and publicity support by House of Arrows. This week's episode was edited by me, Ray Love Jr. Seated is a co-production of Slay Jean and 5011 Media. It's hosted and produced by Tre'vell Anderson and Ray Love Jr. Shout out to our location partner, The Walkwood Yard. See you at the movies. Holla!
Chili's baby back ribs.
Barbecue sauce. Now I want some baby back ribs. Lord, I don't need no ribs right now. I've been doing real good. I've been running. I've been beating up with different
You and the dog
groups.
going to the run.
Yes, Lord. Now I'm about to go down to the damn rib shack. Look at you. This is a bad influence, Tre'vell.
I'm sorry, but I mean, baby, I was bringing you fried chicken every Friday.
Oh, you right.
What do you expect from me?
You are absolutely a part of the problem.
I am the problem.
And I was just sitting there like, can I get 4 pieces instead of 3?